Welcome literally to the 11th take of GeekEnd 101 for episode 95, or as I'd like to call it by this point, 109 or something.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Joining me on this week's episode of my co-host, Ricky.
What's going on, everybody?
If you're brand new to the show, Gaming Dad 101 goes live each and every Wednesday as a podcast, and then we go live as a video on YouTube.
On Fridays,
that's, of
guys.
course, on Fridays, and not counting however many times we start recording that episode. Jesus Christ, today has been fun.
Chris.
So how's it going, Ricky? You know what? Like, for like the third time, you know what? Here, let's sum it up. So, our weekends were interesting. Ricky had a pretty chill weekend. Yep. Right? What'd you do? You cooked some shrimp. You had a shrimp boil.
I got a shrimp boil and boily lips afterwards for burning it.
Because he cooked it for too long and the spiciness and wasn't sure what happened, so it came out super spicy.
That's right.
I talked multiple times about how Link's Awakening is awesome. And if you haven't played Link's Awakening, you should totally 100% play Link's Awakening. And yeah, no, so for real, your weekend. So you had a boil, it didn't go so well. We gave a tip. It's all lost, Ricky. It's all frustrating. Why has our night been this way?
I don't know.
Here's the kicker. Hold on. We haven't brought it up in this take yet. Happy 2-year anniversary.
Happy 2 years, man. Happy to your birthday.
Happy to your birthday to Gaming Dad 101. All right, so as we've explained this before, but let's do it again for the people who can actually hear this one.
At this point, I think it's just a way better choice that we're not 100% doing the 2-year episode today, and we're moving it over to our 100 episode.
Well, Ricky, you're spoiling what I was about to say.
I was trying to help you out. I know you're probably tired. Your throat is probably
tired
from saying it 20 times already.
Yeah. Oh God. No, go ahead. You got it. Go explain it. Go ahead.
So basically, recapping, Chris. You know, we were. Please see this video. It's awesome. Basically our 2-year anniversary is this episode. But in the next 5 weeks, we also have our 100th episode, and we believe that the 100th episode, it's a better time and a better way to basically celebrate everything that has gone on for the last year, along with celebrating. It's like, yo, guys, we've been able to do this for 100 episodes with you guys, and everybody out there has been with us for 100 episodes in the next 5 weeks, of course.
In the next 5 weeks, but even then, like when you're thinking about it, 2 years, Ricky. Like at this point. Like, we're not the biggest podcast out there, by all means. By all means, we're not the biggest one out there. But the fact that we have the listeners that we have is pretty freaking awesome, and I love each and every one of our listeners. So, like, from the bottom of our hearts, once again, thank you for each and every one of you who listens to the show. Again, we're 5 weeks away from 100, but even then, 2 years is a milestone that a lot of podcasts do not hit. So that alone is pretty freaking awesome. So, congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Congratulations, even though my year episode is also somewhere in the mix in here, too, in between.
2 years! All right, so we talked about games we played. Did we already give a brief down on what? Yeah, I played Link's Awakening over the weekend, and it really do much or anything. All I really did was play video games, and really all I played was Link's Awakening. Really awesome game. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. I used the guide an X number of times. Apparently the numbers have changed every time, but it's always somewhere has a 7 in it. So it's between 5 and 8 is what we've determined. But I don't know. It's a very weird episode, guys. Literally, we're not joking when we're talking about 11 takes. Like, that's how our night has been. So let's go ahead and move on. I've talked about my game. Ricky, you have a game this week, too.
Yep.
We have not recapped. So go ahead and recap.
I started picking up a gem from back in the day, which is Owlboy. And it's actually a really good game for those that haven't played it. It's basically about a boy that's also part owl, and the game is an action-adventure game where you can fly around and explore the world from the skies while you're flying with your friends, and you can carry your friends wherever you want. So, Chris, I'll carry you. Don't worry. I'll carry you through this episode just for the adventure of trying to get through it now. No. But yeah, basically your characters are mute. You have other characters that, for example, have stutter issues and all that stuff. So there's a lot of characters with special needs. So it's a very loving game where you're exploring the world and going through life and going through the motions. I recommend it for those that haven't played it. For those that played it, let me know how you liked it in the comments down below for, you know, on the Facebook group. Or also on YouTube
or on the YouTube
well.
video.
Yes, leave us some comments and let us know how if you liked Isle Boy and if you like Link's Awakening. So, but yeah,
and if you don't like Link's Awakening, I'm going to tell you right now, my response is you're wrong. No, I'm just playing with you. Everybody has a right to be wrong. All right, Ricky. So let's go ahead and move on with the show with the very first segment of our episode. The reasons why we're broke, Ricky.
Woo. Yeah. Hey, at least I get to redeem myself from the first go around.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo! So, starting off, we have Children of Morta coming out for the PS4, Xbox One, PC, the Switch on October the 15th. We have Overwatch for the Switch coming out on the 15th. We have The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt coming out for the Switch on October the 15th, which I'm pretty much thinking about picking up. We have Little Town Hero coming out for the Switch on October the 16th. We have Felix the Reaper.
Nice.
Coming out for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and for some reason the Mac. October the 17th.
For some reason. Who the hell knows why?
I don't know. We have Travis Strikes Back, No More Heroes, Complete Edition coming out for the PS4 and PC. We have Lovecraft Tales, The Whisper in the Darkness coming out for the PC on October the 18th. We have Plants vs. Zombies, Battle of the Neighborville, coming out for the PS4, Xbox One, PC. We have Return of the Obra Dinn coming out for the Switch on October the 18th. And finishing it off with... Okay, so that was just a tribute.
I was waiting to see what you were going to do, because for anybody who's watching the YouTube video, he just mimed a whole mess of words. And that's because on one of the takes, his daughter played with the microphone and he kept cutting in and out. So you would hear Ricky making muscle man poses and then going and yep.
Yeah. But yeah, finishing it off, we have Ring Fit Adventures coming out for the Switch. So if you want to hold a steering wheel in front of you, let me know how that goes. Go for it, Chris. It's all you know.
Okay, first of all, don't judge. Second of all, man, I need a new game. I'm actually considering getting The Witcher for the Switch. Again, just because it's portable and I can play it anywhere.
I have it on PC, and I kind of start and stop, but like at the very intro, and it's because I really want to get into it, but I truly don't have the time to like dedicate to sit down and actually play it. And I'm debating if I want to do it on the Switch, where I can at least take it portable and whenever I have a little time to try to play it. So that's currently my debate.
Sweet. Well, let's see, because I'm thinking of getting it, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really getting Ring Fit. Yes, man. It looks interesting. It's gotten actually pretty good reviews, and it's like supposedly, allegedly, it plays like an actual adventure game. So I'm kind of curious to see. I've also reached that point of my weight loss where I need to start like working out. I think like in order to lose more weight, I need to start like physically working out to like get more definition and stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's what I think I need to start doing. So if I can do it in the shape of a video game, Ricky, and I literally would have lost over 100 pounds in just changing my diet and playing a video game, like that's what I want to be able to say. All right? Like I want to be, Chris, how'd you lose so much weight? Playing a video game. Like, that's what I want to say. Just so people look at me really, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, playing a video game.
I mean, we can make it happen. I still have my 360. I still have my Connect. I think I have some kind of workout game, yoga or whatever. We can try it out.
record ourselves doing it. Do a live. Oh my god!
We should
do it on Twitch. Do a Twitch video of us. Okay, we'll brainstorm this off air. All right, we'll brainstorm this off air. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news for this week. Before we get into the news, I want to preface this. Gaming Dad 101 is first and foremost two friends who get together to discuss video games with the rest of our friends who are sadly not in this room. This is in no way, shape, or form political. We are not going to get political. I will not allow political talk over in our Facebook group for anybody in our Facebook group. We're going to stick to the corporate platform, because when it comes to politics, there is a lot of stuff that we don't know. We are, of course, talking about Activision Blizzard, and there's a reason why I'm putting Activision in front of it all. But we're talking about the issues with Activision Blizzard and what's going on with everything and going on with what happened with the Hearthstone Masters, in regards to the Hong Kong protest, all of that stuff. We don't want to get into the politics because, again, we don't know. The politics in China are different from the politics here in the U.S. We don't know those. We're not from those countries. We're not going to touch those. There's hundreds of years of like information and how the Chinese do things, and we just don't know. We're not here to talk about that. We don't know. We're not going to comment on that. What we are going to comment about and what we are going to discuss is what's happening on a corporate level. So for anybody who somehow has not heard, during the Hearthstone Masters, Gamer Blitz Chung made a comment in support of the Hong Kong protest. Because of this comment, Activision Blizzard went ahead and rescinded his prize money, and they suspended him from competitive play for a year. They're stating that based on their official competition rule, section 6.1, it forbids any act that, quote, brings you into public disrepute, offends a portion or a group of the public, or otherwise damages Blizzard's image. So part of all of it, and part of what I would like to say, first of all, Gamer Blitzchung, I personally 100% respect what he's doing. He's in belief of something he believes in, and he's putting out the way that he feels about it. 1,000% respect it. Is it the right platform, though? And that's the type of scenario that we're kind of looking into here. And that's kind of why, again, and this is where it becomes dicey. And this is a topic that was recommended by Ralph Lorenzo, dear friend of mine, friend of the show. He wanted us to discuss it, but it is kind of a touchy thing, don't you think, Ricky? Because
it is. I do respect that he has his view, his opinion. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their rights. But sometimes, for example, for this kind of events, just like they state, they have rules that they try to protect the image of the company.
Of the corporation, yeah.
Exactly.
At the end of the day,
yeah,
video games are fun. They're a company.
Yep. At the end of the day, they're business. Money. Exactly. Just like we know, Nintendo is also a big one that if you do anything that offends or tarnish their image, they will, proceed forward with whatever actions they need to take. In this case, it is part of the rule books. The companies don't want to be part of any scandals that are going outside that has nothing to do with them. So by him doing this in one of their events, I completely understand why they took the measures. Now, I do not believe on the extremity of the measures that were taking place.
And I think that's kind of where everybody's coming from.
Yeah. So, yes, I understand. Okay, disqualify him for the prize money or from the game. Okay, I get that. It's part of your rules. It's on there written down. I get that part. But completely banning him, that's a little way too extreme for me.
See, for me, I think that, I kind of understand the money. I still think that, I feel like the money should have been given to some sort of charity. You know what I mean? I don't think they should have just been we're taking it away. It's like, you know what? We're donating it on your behalf to somebody else as opposed to you getting it. I think would have been a much better solution. It doesn't even have to be a cause to do with this, with his protest or anything. It can just be any random cause, in my opinion. But what it boils down to is that even though, in the U.S., he has free speech. We all have free speech. Mm-hmm. But free speech does not give you freedom of consequence, which is what a lot of people misconstrue. A lot of people think that you can say whatever you want without any sort of consequence to come from it. And that's not really what it is about. It's the freedom to be able to say what you want without, legal persecution. So it's people like Blitzchung making a point of how they feel about certain things that they don't agree with and not being persecuted legally for it. The problem is that this is a private event that he's now attending. So of course, within private events, they have their own private rules. They have their own private stuff. So I think that that's kind of where it's coming from. So, I mean, do I agree? Here's the problem, and this is where I feel the most conflicted. I don't necessarily agree with either of them.
No, and the part that kind of annoys me is that they also fired the 2 interview casters. You know, I mean,
well, 2 of them were fired but did you know why though?
Not 100%.
They apparently knew what he was going to do. So they knew what he was going to do, and then at the end of the interview, they turned it over to him and hid behind the desk. So like they were full cognizant of what he was about to do. And I think that that's the reason they were fired. It's because they were aware that somebody was about to fly off the radar and they did nothing about it. So
at the end of the day, a person is going to do what the hell they do. If you try to stop them or not, you know, it's just very dicey and very political. And there's a lot going on with this that,
there's a lot of interconnected stuff.
It all of this whole situation, you know, it's all on a balance, on a very fine thread, on a fine line of, you know, yes, it is a private event, you know, and you need to follow specific rules, but it's very hard.
So here's the thing. Let's look at it from both perspectives.
Okay.
All right, and this is why I kind of saying like it's kind of I can see both points. All right. I am an individual. I see something happening systematically that I'm not happy with, and I have a platform. It makes 100% sense for me to say, okay, let me use my platform to shine a light on what I see as a problem in hopes that it's going to cause a solution. I get that. At the same time, you're sitting here in regards to China, one of the stringent countries for video game censoring, because that's what it boils down to. We've talked about Tencent before, and how in order for you to get something published over there, you literally have to go through Tencent. And there's like, I think 1 or 2 other companies who do imports. Mostly it's Tencent who does it. So you have to go through them to get your video game license to finally hit China. And this is part of this information I've heard from a different podcast, was based on the number of people that they have in China over the next couple of years, they predict the Chinese market to be the biggest gaming market in the world, okay, because of the amount of people in China. So you now have a situation where you have one person upset with the country that 100% controls your income based out of this country. So you now have Blizzard in between the literal government and the people who want the games. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What is Blizzard supposed to do? If they side with the person to protect his freedom of speech, they're now endangering their business practices in China. And that could make the company boil over. Now, granted, Activision Blizzard may not necessarily need the money, but Activision is Activision, which is why I call it Activision Blizzard. So, with that said, they need to make sure that China's happy to be able to sell stuff in China, while at the same time they need to show that they have some sort of control and safety over what they're trying to put out. So it's a very dicey and kind of complicated situation, which even you and I talking about it, and us, like, because realistically we're kind of talking in circles about it, because it's a fucked up situation all around. Like, it really, really is. Like, no matter which way I'm looking at it from the individual who wants his freedoms. I'm looking at it from a corporation perspective of we need to make money. I'm not looking at it from a governmental perspective, because I don't know the government. So fuck it. But realistically, like, and we go back to the fact that we just don't know their culture. Their history and their culture is 1,000% different than what we have here. But what these events started was a hashtag called Blizzard Boycott, which has just become insane. All right. And this is literally the first 3 articles we have this week are all within this topic. So I went ahead and threaded them together. So because of what happened over at the Hearthstone Grandmasters and the Blizzard Boycott hashtag, all of these protests, people started to say that, you know what, we're all going to close our Blizzard accounts. And a whole mess of people went and started to close their Blizzard accounts. And then a whole mess of people couldn't, getting an error saying that due to too many attempts, the email code has been locked. And apparently, because of the number of complaints and people going and flooding the Reddit, the Reddit got shut down too.
Jesus.
So yeah, man. And it was, have you heard about any, like, that part? Like, people were trying to leave, then people were accusing Activision Blizzard of not letting people leave so that they couldn't, to try to pad their numbers or whatever, so that they wouldn't have a giant loss of people. It's been a mess, dude.
Yeah, no, I heard a little bit. I just haven't like dug into it to figure out exactly what's going on. But yeah, no, I did see the freaking boycott Blizzard thing going on at least on Twitch is where I noticed it the most. But yeah, I mean, it's just. Honestly, okay, excuse my language, but it's just very fucked up situation.
And the whole thing is
there's a whole company that is basically not trying to cover everything that's going on, but basically try to take some kind of control with something
over a situation that's spinning out of control.
Exactly, that is not really controllable. And they need to choose their battles. Now, unfortunately, they're stuck in between everything.
They're always in a freaking battle, though. That's the problem.
I know, but, I mean, I do kind of feel bad for them. Because, yes, they're boycotting. And people sometimes tend to take it overboard. Is it right for Blizzard or Activision to completely not allow a customer or a user to discontinue their account? No, that's messed up. I should be able to have the right. Actually. Hey, I should have the rights to do whatever the heck I want with my account. If I no longer want to support you, I no longer want to support you. You cannot make me. So I am seeing it from that point of view. Blizzard's point of view is kind of hard to see it from. I know that you're trying to protect your rep and everything, but that is not the way to go about it. At the end of the day, people are just trying to make a statement. Will they come back eventually? I'm pretty sure that all of those people, or at least most of them, would actually eventually recreate their account. Because at the end of the day, they do have pretty good games that I do enjoy. So,
they did until Activision started doing a homosexual.
Well, Activision is Activision. But
let's go ahead before we move on that article. Jay Baxter comments over in our Facebook group. Dubious account deletion access is mandated by Europe's GDPR laws and California's CCPA laws. Blizzard put a great deal of effort into complying with these laws, and the penalties are ludicrously severe. No one would willingly violate them. And he's right. So basically, after all was said and done in regards to the deletion problem and people being blocked from deleting their account, what it boiled down to be was that too many people were trying to log in and delete their accounts, and created basically a massive overload for the servers because there were so many people trying to go in, which then now prompts the question: just how many people were going in to close their accounts? This was not a joke, dude. Like, the site shut down because of the number of people going to do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is pretty freaking ridiculous. Like, I can't believe that it's gotten to this point. And then it's even gotten to the point where we go to the third news article that I wanted to touch base on. Blizzard canceled the Overwatch event for the Switch, for the premiere of it coming out on the Switch today. Well, because that was scheduled to be today, October 15th.
Yep. Yep. Look at the day. I'm like, yeah.
They were recording.
Yep. No, I mean,
or the night we're recording, but yeah.
Again,
it's
yeah. I mean, honestly, their show. I will say I'm not mad at them for canceling the Overwatch live show, just because it would have taken, all the fans and everything, all this controversy would have taken over the show.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Instead of them actually being able to present you something that they truly care about and want to present to you. So
to be honest,
okay with that.
I foresee people being there and just booing at the stage and just kind of like messing it up. Yeah, no, exactly. So it makes perfect sense.
And it also protects their employees too, because you don't know who wants to act all crazy and wants to create some kind of a harm by, it could be just simply throwing a water bottle or just being stupid,
Yeah.
So yes, for the safety,
stupid, for the safety
of the employees, I completely understand that one.
So, and it make like you said, it makes perfect sense, if nothing else, for the safety of the employees, because it's gotten to this point. And we go back, and again, I want to reiterate this for anybody out there: we are not taking Blizzard's side on this. We're not taking realistically anybody's side on this. It's just, it's a situation of a lot of fucked up events. It's a situation that a lot of things could have been done differently. It's a situation where an entity is trying to protect their image. You know, we have a gamer who is trying to protect his image and what he believes is right. And we could never disagree with somebody who's trying to do that. And then we have a government entity that we're not getting into because we don't know anything about it. So it's just one of those scenarios where it's kind of like it was kind of like it was a catalyst for just the worst thing to happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I don't see how any of this could have been done any differently and have a better outcome. Like, I don't see how Blitzchung could have said something differently. I mean, even he knew that he was doing something wrong. When he made the statement, he had his face covered. You know what I mean? So, like, the only reason you would do that is because you don't necessarily want to be identified. So clearly, you know, you're doing something that's going to put you in danger. Is that necessarily a bad thing, though? We go back to human rights and all this thing, and that's where it gets political, and that's where we draw the line. So that's as far as we're going to get into this. We preloaded this at the beginning of the episode to get it out of the way. I took that also from a different podcast that I listened to, where they did the same. They put it pretty much at the beginning just to kind of talk about it and get it over and done with. And at the same time, in the course of the last week, since last week's episode, this has like dominated almost everything of it, every bit of news that's been out there so far. It's literally taken over every single bit of it. With the exception of these two things that we're going to get into, and these are two fun things. So, first thing, we know how much we love patents on this show, not because we think they're going to happen, but because we love speculating and hoping that they will. PlayStation filed a new patent for a new wireless VR headset. And Ricky, I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm super excited. I'm looking forward to it. You don't look too happy.
I have glasses and I get motion sickness, so
you don't care. So, but what if they were to come out and be like, Ricky, you can adjust it to where you don't need glasses?
I mean, that's. I'll give it a shot.
All right.
I'll give it a shot, but just VR in general just gives me motion sickness regardless. I know that there's been some attempts at trying to ease motion sickness with VR. Mm-hmm. But hey, you know, PlayStation, bring it on. Tell me what you got going on.
So I'm just excited because I'm looking forward to a new VR headset.
Is it that bad?
The original is what bad?
The current VR headset?
It's not that it's bad. It's just that there's a lot of wires and stuff involved. There's a lot of like, you need X amount of room and you need this and that, and I don't think it's as easily accommodatable as people think. When you're looking at things like the Gear VR or you're looking at the Oculus 5, is it Vive? Is that what it is? Oh, yeah, the Oculus Rift. No, it's not. The Rift is which is the wireless one?
I'm not a big VR.
You're not big on VR,
I'm not. I know that you have the Rift, you have the Oculus.
Okay, so the Oculus 5 is the wireless one. So
okay.
Yeah, that's the one that's all in one. So that one has a lot less restrictions in terms of what you need. I mean, that one is a standalone headset. You don't need a PC. So if you were to grab a PlayStation 5 wireless headset where I don't need all the cables, that'd be awesome. Because the amount of cables that you need to connect to it, that's what the problem is, and that's what people don't like about it. At the same time, it's how often do you use VR? I have 2 VR headsets for the Gear, and I barely use them. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, it's one of those where it's like the novelty, but it's also at the same time, do you have games that are worth playing on the platform? So I've kind of been waiting for PlayStation VR to grow their library, and then once they have a better library, then get into it. But by then, I'm expecting the VR too. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. So I'm hoping this is it.
Well, let's see how it is. I know that Steam also recently tried to come up with a VR kit set. I'm not sure exactly how well it is, but you're able to buy the VR headset, the controllers, and the base camera all separately. And that's the thing though. VR is fairly expensive. It's for example, for the one for Steam that I'm currently looking at is $999.
And you see, but that's what's so nice about the PlayStation VR. The PlayStation VR is still on the expensive side.
What is it? $500? $400?
No,
$499?
I think it dropped down to $300. I think.
Did it?
I think so.
Last time I looked.
Let's take a look. I'm gonna look it up on Amazon right now. But yeah, realistically, dude, it's one of those things that even though it's more expensive, or even though it is expensive, don't get me wrong, because even the PlayStation 1 is still pretty expensive, it's still cheaper than anywhere else. You know what I mean? You're looking at $269, $348 for the Amazon bundle that brings Mega Blood and Everybody Plays Golf.
Yeah, and Best Buy has it for $299 with 2 games. Which is Trevor's Saves the World and Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, see, so they have different bundles, and it's not necessarily that expensive. It's expensive overall, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's not $1,000. It's not like the Oculus Rift. The Oculus Rift, that one's like $900 something depending on the one that you get. Plus, you have to buy the PC. Plus, you have to. You know what I mean? Like that's the issue. So the PSVR has a very nice entry point, but I just want a better headset. I understand where they're going. I'm not saying that this one's a bad one, but I still think that it could be better.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's always some improvements. There's always advance in technology that we can implement into something new. We've seen it with all the different generations of consoles themselves. So I'm pretty sure that we to this day have done at least some kind of events. At least I would hope that we've done some kind of events into the VR realm, to where we can bring this more up to date, more easier for people like me, you know, that get motion sickness or that wear glasses. And unfortunately, in my case, due to eye allergies, I am not able to wear contacts. So so it kind of limits me from trying to enjoy some of those VR, you know, style games.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see what the future brings. I'm always hopeful that they can try to accommodate, you know, for every customer out there, every consumer, every gamer.
Yep. So that's like the first bit of news, but again, still a patent, so take it like a grain of salt.
Oh yeah.
However,
Xbox
we did
One
get
X.
confirmation. Stop it with your Xbox. Not happening.
Xbox Switch. Xbox Switch, bitch.
I'm gonna make a shirt like that with your face on it. We have confirmation finally on Google's new platform, Stadia. So Stadia is going to go live at 9 a.m. PST, that's 6 a.m. EST, or Eastern Standard Time, on November 19th, guys. That's literally a month away. All right? I'm super excited. So anybody who pre-ordered their, Founders Pack, or the first edition pack or something that
Founders
they called
Pack.
it after they're in. No. There's a different one that they started giving out when they ran out of the Founders Pack.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find the Founders Edition. Where did it go? Premier Edition. So if you didn't get your hands on the Founders Pack, it's okay. You were able to get your hands on the Premier Edition, which was the replacement that they called it. But it's been confirmed for the 19th for 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Anybody who pre-ordered is going to get theirs based on when they pre-ordered it. So the earlier that you pre-ordered it, the faster you're going to get it. The later you pre-ordered it, the later you're going to get it. So if you pre-ordered it on the same day, chances are you're going to get it a day of. If you pre-ordered it a couple days after, a week after, you may be slightly delayed on when you get it. And then, of course, so far, it's been confirmed to come with Destiny 2, the collection, which is included in the membership. That membership, of course, comes with 3 months for you and 3 month buddy pass that you could give away to a friend, which, yeah, Ricky already knows. It's him. So Are you excited, Ricky? I'm super excited. As a matter of
I'm
fact, I got
excited.
this news today, and I was actually super annoyed that I didn't get an email from Stadia telling me the date, and I didn't even know that they had. So they had a conference for the Pixel, and they talked about the Pixel 4, and they talked about some other tech, and that's when they announced the the launch date for Stadia.
Okay. Yeah,
So
no, I'm just curious over here. I was trying to take a quick peek to see what the new
the Premier Edition.
yeah, what the Premier Edition looks like. I'm not able to find it right away cuz I'm actually going to the website for Google and it's still allowing me to do the Stadia's Founders Edition to pre-order. Funny enough. So, I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know if they restock. I don't know if it's going to be on some kind of a back order.
That's weird. It's possible. Basically, the Premier Edition. I think the only difference is that it comes with a white controller. If that's
Is that what it
saying.
is? Okay.
Yeah. And it might be that they started doing it more in the UK and stuff.
Okay.
But
Oh
ooh,
yeah, update for UK's Founder Edition sold in in Europe. Google has added a Premier Edition. Is really what's going on. So it's not really towards us here in the States, but more on the east side. So yes, it is the white controller version.
yeah. So it's the white controller. It comes with the Chromecast Pro, I think it's what it's called, and then it comes with a membership. Um, Dude, I'm super excited. I keep looking at it, and I'm just like looking at the games that are coming for it and what's been confirmed. And I'm actually pretty hyped to see how this is gonna look. I'm hoping that it's gonna be super awesome. That's what I'm praying for, because I think it's gonna
Oh,
be great.
I think
And then
I'm excited because I think I can possibly get my hands on a Chromecast Ultra for free.
really,
Yeah,
all right,
thanks to my 9 to 5.
huh?
Ah,
Interesting.
you know what I'm talking about now.
Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. So then you should look into that, see if
Yep.
that's the one you need,
No,
and then all you
it
need is a
is.
controller.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just the Chromecast Ultra. It's to be able to at least play the 4K, at least at a 4K resolution. Which behind me right here, I have my little 4K TV. So
And then, of course, if you're looking for Stadia and you're one of the people that are waiting for it, for to see whether it's worth it, or because you want to sign up for the free subscription for Stadia, because there is going to be a free basic subscription. That's all coming in 2020, but we don't have a date on that yet.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to try it. I can't wait to check it out. I guess you and I will play Destiny together since that
yeah,
one is free, so we can test it out and see how that goes.
let's do it.
And now the question.
I'll replay it again for like the 4th time.
The real only question is going to be is what other games I'm going to get on that platform, because at this point, which by the way I signed up for PS Now, so I now have PS Now. I'm re-signing up for Xbox Games Pass, so I'm
Okay.
going to have that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I canceled my Loot Crate, so I was like, all right, no more Loot Crate. All right, these two, boom, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it still adds up to less.
Yeah.
So sorry, Loot Crate, but you screwed me over. So bye bye. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
I just got actually funny enough that you talk about it. I actually just got an email from them like 2 days ago.
Did you please come back?
Yes, just because of what's going on with their company.
Well, Loot Crate, you should have sponsored us. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
I'm still wearing one of your shirts, and so is Ricky.
That's
All
right.
right. Like, you should have totally done it. But anyway.
Well, hey, Loot Company, hello, hi.
Hi, how are you? I totally forgot what we were talking about at this point. Forget it. Stadia. Stadia's awesome. Go check out Stadia. Wait for our review on Stadia
Subscriptions.
coming out November 19th. And we should do the math, because now that I think about it, November 19th is roughly on when our 100th episode would be.
Interesting.
That we may need to do. We may need to do some Stadia streaming. Oh, actually, that's something to test. The streaming. Okay, we'll talk about this off air. So that pretty much does it for the news for this week, everybody. Is there anything you want to add, Ricky? Anything that you would like to share, sign off, recommend?
I recommend for you to go hit a 5-star rating for our show. You know, if you like us, that is perfect. If you hate us, 5 stars. And,
Especially if you hate us, you have to give us 5.
And really let us know.
And let us know why. Give it to us.
Exactly. We do try. I know, for example, 11 takes today. It's and you guys are still hanging on with us. 5 stars, baby.
5 stars, baby. That basically covers it for me too. I was about to say the same thing. The other thing is, for all of you listeners or people watching out there who have not yet joined our Facebook group or are part of the Facebook group and don't say anything, start saying something. I see you guys. I see you ladies. You're more than welcome. Start participating. Start posting things. Post random things. Who cares? Let's all make friends and let's get some more chatting going up in here. Whoop, whoop. So yeah, that's kind of cuts it out for today. So thank you very much for joining us on this week's episode. Everybody, remember to join us each and every single week for a brand new episode. Rate and subscribe, all that jazz. You can follow me on Twitter at VisXen. You can follow Ricky at PickyGamerDad. Follow us at GeekEnd Cast and search GeekEnd Cast. Ooh, I forgot to mention, or maybe I did mention last week, we have a brand new website. GeekEndCast.com has been revamped. Yep. It looks much cooler. It's much neater. It's much more organized, and it's going to be updated much more frequently, luckily. So, yeah, go check that out if you haven't done so already. Check out
my ball's up now, too.
And your profile is now up, too. It took us long enough to put you on there.
It's okay. I know. I had to do my, my 1 year... how do you go 1 year probation?
We're just making sure you're sticking around.
Hey, fair enough.
Just say. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode. We'll see you next week.
Hasta luego, caramba.